Hello you. So yeah, we're back with yet another video because I woke up to this. James O'Brien. So James O'Brien, on the 17th of October, 2 days ago from me recording this, decided to go on LBC Radio, where he has a regular job and earns a crap ton of money, and ask why don't we see it as a pleasure and a privilege to pay taxes?
Why don't we see paying tax as a privilege and a pleasure?
Well, there's a few reasons for that. One, we don't actually get very much for our taxes. Healthcare, most people can't even see a doctor these days. Waiting time is huge, with hospital waiting times still massively high. And then there's policing. The police seem more interested in arresting people for mean comments on the internet than actual things like, rape, murder, pedophilia. So, yeah, of course we don't see taxation as a patriotic act. You're coming in and taking our hard-earned money to spend on things we don't see any benefit for. But what really wound me up here is that James O'Brien works for a massive tax avoider. LBC Radio itself is owned by a group called Global Media and Entertainment Limited. It's been called out multiple times, including by a group called Corporation Watch. So, let's take a little look at Global Media and Entertainment Group, previously called This Is Global. It was founded by a man called Michael Tabor, who decided to buy his son Ashley a media company, even though he's never held a senior job in a media company. So once Ashley, his son, got given essentially a media group, he decided to rapidly expand the company, entirely financed by debt, which apparently has never been repaid. Most of that debt takes the form of shareholder loans from its Jersey-based parent company. These shareholder loans are basically where the company borrows from its shareholders, and the shareholders receive payment on those loans over a period of time. And this is basically another way of avoiding tax, because these interest payments on the shareholder loans are made before tax, whilst dividends on the shares are paid after tax. And according to Byline Times, until 2017, Global was able to set off almost all of its losses against tax. As a result, it paid no UK tax. It even recorded tax credits known as deferred tax assets on its balance sheet. However, this does appear to have stopped sometime in 2017 when Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs restricted corporations' abilities to offset interest payments against tax. Right, so it's no longer doing tax avoidance. No, it's still doing tax avoidance. So, it was able to use a 5.2 million tax credits built up prior to 2017 to offset its tax liability. In effect, we paid those taxes. And by 2023, it was reporting nearly 38.8 million of deferred tax liabilities. I.e., that's money we're paying that Global should have been paying. Now, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs has decided not to close this loophole after heavy lobbying from the finance industry. We'll get into a bit more of the link between Global Media and Entertainment Limited and the finance industry in just a second, but 10 years later, Global had 1.35 billion of tradable notes bearing interest rates of 12% to 15%. That's a massive amount of tax avoidance. And as I mentioned, there does appear to be somewhat of a cosy relationship between the finance industry and Global. For example, and in 2015, the UK bank HSBC admitted it had helped wealthy clients hide assets from tax authorities. Global instructed all of its radio stations not to report this news story as it broke. After lots of complaints, Ofcom investigated and decided Global had good editorial reasons for delaying reporting. And I wonder what those were. In fact, the article does point out that at the time, HSBC held a charge over Global's assets as security against borrowing, and you can even see that here on the Company House website. How can you sit there on the radio station telling us, the taxpayer, that we should see it as a privilege to be taxed when you work for an organisation that goes out of its way not to be taxed? Don't you see that as even the slightest bit hypocritical? And so, James O'Brien, I have one thing to say to you. Until your company starts paying the taxes it's meant to be paying and not using every dodgy scheme it can find to limit the amount of tax it pays, you don't have a leg to stand on. Anyway, that's all I've got for you. Feel free to leave a comment, and seemingly I am making more videos on this channel, so if you'd like to, you can subscribe, like, or don't. It's really up to you. Take care and have a great day.